Bishop, what's the arrangement? The girl makes the money, and she gives you how much of it?
The arrangement is how I make the arrangement. And it go like this. You make the money and you bring me all of it.
Bishop, where'd you grow up?
Born and raised in Chicago. You know, west side of Chicago, as a matter of fact, you know, come up in the family, you know, was 8 of us, and father died early, so it was a mother with no father, and, you know, we had to decide what we wanted to do, and, you know, coming up in the inner city, it ain't that many opportunities. You know, you either want to be a drug dealer, burglar, or car thief, you know, or murderer. You know, I didn't want none of that. And, you know, I chose to be a ladies' man.
And how would you describe your childhood?
I would describe my childhood as coming up in the inner city. You know, that makes it look cute, I would say, the ghetto. But in my early childhood, you know, I was really blessed. My father, you know, he took me from my mother at an early age because they had split up. And my father had a restaurant, 3 buildings, ice cream parlor. So, you know, I was spoiled at a very early age, you know. So I used to come and spend the weekends with my other sisters and brothers and bring them potato chips and candy and ice cream from my father's store. But when he passed, and then I had to come live with my mother, and here it is, 7 of us in the house, you know, ain't no money, had to figure that out for ourselves. That was my early childhood.
Did you have role models that kind of showed you this game, pimping?
Role model? No, it wasn't no role model. It's like, you know, the kid in the suburb would see doctors and lawyers coming out the house. Me sitting on the porch, I seen dope dealers and pimps come out the house with 3, 4 girls, sharp, dressed in suits with diamonds and getting in a big flashy car. I said, that's how I want to be when I grow up.
And you started pimping at what age?
I started in the gang at, you know, something like 16. You know, I had what we call, when you get turned out to the gang, like boosters. I used to take girls shopping, and they used to go in these different stores at the mall, steal different merchandise, and at the end of the day, we would, you know, chop it up, you know, give me a third of the merchandise for me driving them out there and different things like that until my gang elevated into the pimp gang. You know, but the early part of the gang coming into it, 16, 17, you know, I'm out in the streets, I'm trying to find a way. Like I said, I didn't want to do them other things like sell dope and drugs because that wasn't my makeup. So I was blessed to be able to become a ladies' man, because what happened is early in my childhood, me and my sister Alma used to go to school together, and she used to tell me, boy, the girls like you. And I just took to that and I ran with it. I was young at 16 and 15, things like that, when girls used to come ask my mother, can they take me shopping with their check? Early stage of my gang, man.
What's the arrangement with a girl and a pimp? So she makes the money and brings you how much of it?
The arrangement is how I make the arrangement. And it go like this. You make the money and you bring me all of it. And I decide on how we chop it up and how we make it happen. My responsibility is to be her everything. Her mother, her father, her sister, her brother, her lover, her daddy, all of these things. So in my time of playing the pimp game, my women never did have to really go shopping. I did all of their shopping. They make the money and I supply everything. We used to go to the medical center every 3 months. They know when I come in to check the girl, make sure they didn't have any kind of disease and that they was all right. I played it on a top shelf how it was supposed supposed to go. Once my game became official like a referee with a whistle, I was off and running. Once I became #1 in the game, I was #1 for 13 years in a row. And that's being voted by your peers, the players in different states and different countries that understand the game. It's a criteria about who doing the best in that 12-month period. The best car, the clothes, the jewelry, the diamond, your women, the respect you get in the street. That's a criteria that the player have to acquire in order to become Pimp or Player of the Year.
How many girls have you had, or how many girls would you have at one time?
Oh, I had a stable. And a stable consists of 7 females. And my stable was so powerful because I didn't just have flatback. And what I mean by flatback is females that go out to prostitute and all they do is sell that split between their legs. I had thieves, professional thieves that know how to go and bring 10,000 Rolex, Cartier, you know what I mean, furs home, you did? And that's what made my game top shelf because I had the best of the street life females. I was considered #1 on being able to work them black girls. It was a struggle, man, but I played it.
You've had girls of all races, right?
Well, yeah, I have girls of all races, but my official thing was black girls. And black girls wasn't easy to handle. And I want to tell you a story about a black girl. Her name was Michelle. She was like, you know, my bottom chick. I mean, she would bring home other chicks that made my game solid. And, you know, I had my girls working on the west side on this street called Lake Street, Lake and Halsted. And I didn't allow my girl to date blacks. And so a black guy pulled up to date a trick. And she refused to date him, and he shot her 5 times. Couple of bullets in her head and her body, and she was rushed to the county hospital in Chicago. I got the call that this had taken place, and me and my sister, and we went to the hospital, which was the county hospital at the time. And when I got there, her mother was there and her sister was there with her, and I walked in with my sister. And soon as she seen me, she laying there with tubes and a, you know, IV everywhere. And the first thing she said when she saw me, it said, "Daddy, I can't wait to get out of this bed to go get you your money." Her mother looked at me and said, "What have you done to my child?" I said, "Nothing." That's just dedication, ma'am, pure dedication. That's the same female that would get shot in the leg on the stroll, run home, tie up her leg, change wig, and go right back to work. It was a dedicated process. It was by choice, not by force.
Will you have sex with the girls that are in your stable?
Yeah, I had sex with the girls that was in my stable. I had some very beautiful young ladies. I mean, they was young, tender, and wild. And it was just amazing to have such a stable of quality, beautiful black women. And it was amazing. You know, I used to lay in the bed, you know, the thought of that with 7 chicks and, you know what I mean, having a chick on every arm and every limb and being able to satisfy and enjoy that thrill is every man's, you know, imagination.
And the girls would work where? On the street?
Mm-hmm.
The girls work on the street corner?
Girls would work on the street corner. They would set up dates and work in the hotel, wherever the money called, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, you use the street corner for instant cash, you know what I mean? If, you know, some trick set up a date for future action, you know what I mean? All is well on that too, but, you know, majority, you know, you pimping, you know, you on that concrete, you know what I mean? You got them chicks standing out there, you know what I mean, 7, 8, 17 hours a day, depending on the paper and how they getting their money, you know what I mean? You reward honesty and, you know, a chick that's blessing the table, you know what I mean, putting it on the dresser. You know, she might get a little day off, she might get a chance to go out and have a ball and enjoy herself, or pick her favorite piece of jewelry or materialistic thing, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And that's why I was considered such a good pimp, because I gave back. You know, my chicks looked like I looked. You know, it wasn't that I had on diamonds and they didn't. They wore diamonds too. They wore mink coats too. They had custom made threads on. You know what I mean? I mean, hey, we was matching. You did?
You did prison time at some point? Have you done prison time at some point?
Prison? No, I never did time in the prison, and I don't think there's no place for a player. My game was official like a referee because I played it as a player, not as a thief, not as a robber, not as a burglar, or none of them things. I sent a chick in my place to do all them things so I wouldn't have to do that. That was the thought of having a prostitute, that she would do your bidding so that you don't have to do that. No, I've never been to the penitentiary. As a matter of fact, I never did drugs. I don't even curse. You know what I mean? And when my girl was into that, you know, getting drugs from the tricks and different things like that, I didn't want it. I would give it away. You know what I mean? Because I know that if you put that drug in their vein, you was going to lose your game.
So your girls would be mostly drug-free?
Huh?
Your girls would be drug-free, or some of them would use?
We smoked weed, and we even at a time smoked the PCP, which is known to be a hallucinating drug, very powerful. But you know what I mean? Cocaine, heroin, and all that kind of stuff, acid, pills, seed, and all that was out. You know what I mean? It was not a part of my game because I know one thing. I wasn't going to be able to play my game as on that level if that was involved. I've seen a lot of players that was top flight get crossed out because they mixed drugs in their game.
So you're from Chicago, as am I, which is where we know each other from. But how is the pimp game different in different parts of the country?
You talking about 2020 or period?
Or either one.
Well, one thing about it, like everything in life, is a time for it. And the pimp thing in its glory days was best in the 70s, early 80s, and then it drifted off into the drug gang. A lot of pimps got hooked, their females got hooked, and it changed the course of the game because it was no honor, no respect in the gang. A lot of top five players that thought they could play the drug gang and pimp crossed themselves out because they got hooked on it, their females got hooked on it. She left them going to the drug dealer to continue to get her habit satisfied, so it completely put a black eye on the gang. A lot of the guys that were dedicated to the gang, like myself, they continued to strive because they were striving on the success of their knowledge, not on a drug, not on manipulation, but purely just telling the truth to a female. You know, what I told my girls that, hey, I go to Hollywood, you going to Hollywood with me. And I did that. If I go to the White House, you going with me. I took them to Washington. We went to the gates of the White House. I mean, a woman can appreciate a man that say what he mean and mean what he say. I'm not saying I didn't have struggles and difficulty. Other pimps trying to pull guns on me. I didn't knock pimps and they didn't want to receive or accept the bumping. I had my ups and downs, but I was dedicated to the game to be able to play the game fair, play the game the right way. I didn't want no shortcut or no easy way to becoming number one. I wanted to grind from the concrete to the executive suite so I'd be to earn what I received. And it wouldn't be no doubts about it, just like it is today, that I am considered the chairman of the board of famous players everywhere, all over the world, and recently anointed in the last 2 years Pimp God of all players all over the world, which is an accomplishment. I didn't know that I would achieve that. Not being Pimp God is sure enough a fascination, but to be able to become number one in the game for all them many years. And when I got into the game, I just wanted a bad chick. I wanted a diamond ring, a diamond watch, a fur coat, a slick car. I didn't know that I was going to be a game changer in the game, that I was going to become number one, that I was going to be able to lay out game to the other players and be able to go cross country and crown and make kings in different cities. I didn't know that. I didn't know it would escalate to that. But becoming dedicated to the game made me realize it. And then the thing that made me know that I was really ready for the game, it was back in the 70s. I was on the road with a female, a thief, and she had went out, and then she got busted. But what she did is, they had her handcuffed to one of them little rails. She got the handcuff from around the rail and jumped out the window of the police station. And we on the road now, we out of town. She come to the hotel. I'm fresh now in the game now. You know, I'm on the road with her. She already seasoned to this. And this is amazement to me. I'm on the road getting my first dollar. And here she come back to the hotel room with handcuffs. Now, I'm a young buck. I'm barely 20 or 21. I mean, I'm freaked out and I'm amazed. But I didn't panic. And what I did is believe this, and this is the truth, that I always thought about what they did on TV where they would take a bobby pin and pop the handcuffs. And this the honest to God truth. I took a big bobby pin and stuck it in there and wiggled it, pop, goes the handcuffs. That was the most amazing thing to me. It proved to the chick that I was qualified to be her man, and even to this day from the 70s, she's still at my beck and call. And that's over 40-something years. And I proved to myself that I was ready for the game when that happened. I'd have never thought that would work, but I wasn't panicked, and I did it, and it proved to the female that I was qualified to be her man. We left that town and drove 500 miles to the next city and continued the marathon.
What are the qualities a pimp needs to be a successful pimp?
The things I just explained it to you earlier is a certain criteria. You start with the female. Then you go to the materialistic thing, like the car, your clothes, your jewelry, where you stay, the characteristics about you. I'm internationally known and locally accepted. I'm known all over the world. I done made the name Don Juan official. Used to be, people said Don Juan, they think about some character in the 1816. You know what I mean? That was a lover, which that's what I've become, a lover. You know what I mean? And made that name official. I cash checks in that name. You have to have that criteria. A lot of guys do a lot of talking, and you know, you've seen a lot of them different videos, pimps up, hoes down, American pimp, and they say a lot of things. But I'm the one that could clarify all of that stuff they say to whether it's official or is authentic, you know. I mean, guys say a lot of things, and it impressed a lot of people that see it that really don't know about the game. And it make it seem like it's wow. But you know what I mean? When the truth is told, you get better action out of it, because a lot of that fake stuff they be saying, it just don't give you longevity.
And what are the qualities a pimp will look for in a woman?
Huh?
What are the qualities a pimp will look for in a female?
The qualities that a pimp need to look for in a female is whether she would give you her money. See, a chick could do a lot of things, man. She'll do a bunch of things. Don't worry about it. I go back on you, player.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
You come forward too.
Chicks will do a lot of things. You know what I mean? She'll suck you. She'll F you. She'll do a lot of things. But if she don't like you, she ain't gonna give you her money. So when she do that, that means she think a little bit above the normal about you. And it ain't so much about you being the #1 lover, because, you know, when you pimping, you send your chick out, she getting big size, little size, fat size, all size. But that don't matter to her. What matters to her is to get home to the person that say that they care and love her. That matters more than all of that. So it ain't competition for a pimp to out nail a chick than a trick. A trick job is to do just what he do. And a real female understand that. It ain't about love. You dig? You know what I mean? Like we said, it ain't matrimony with us. It's macrimony.
Now, you're a very flashy individual. Driving the streets of Chicago, you're driving in a custom Bentley or Rolls Royce or Cadillac, green and gold. Everything is custom, the wheels, everything. And then the way you dress is very flashy as well. Did the police ever give you...
Well, one thing about it is, I told you, you know, it's in the pudding. And what I mean is, what you see is what you get. You know what I mean? I can't say I'm one thing and then look another way. It's a certain way that you have to look as a pimp. You know what I mean? A lot of guys out here, you know, they do the gym shoes and the blue jeans and things like that. But what I say is, you ducking your cleanest bill when you do that. You did? Because, you know, as a pimp, I have chained up to 4 times a day. You know what I mean? You couldn't go without a high cleaner's bill. I used to pull up to the cleaners and didn't have to even go in.
I've seen you 20 times. I've never seen you dressed anything less flashy than what you're wearing today.
Well, what I'm saying is, when I used to come up to the cleaners, I used to have 3 bags, me and the prostitute. I didn't even have to go in. The people would come outside the cleaner, get the bag, and go back in. You know what I mean? You got to dress. It's part of the game. Ain't no getting away around it. They talk slick about them blue jean suits and them jogging suits. I don't care if they call 10,000. They ain't gonna never be the tuxedo and the white shirt out. Never. You did? And one thing about it is, what a real pimp player know that blue jean is a workman material. You don't want that on your skin, man. You don't even want the thought about you in a working jean, overalls. You don't do that. I mean, y'all get away with it because y'all playing it y'all way, not the way of the game. I'm telling you, man, you had to be a fisher in the 70s to be in the presence of real pimps. You couldn't get away with that fake game that they playing today and come all up in the middle and start talking and things. Real players gonna tell you how it is and how it's supposed to go.
What do you do when one of your girls gets out of line or does something you don't?
Okay, let me tell you something about when my girls get out of line. They gotta be checked. Cause see, one thing about it is, in that pimp gang, in order to be successful, you have to create some fear in that female. You have to tell her that if she do something wrong, that you gonna kill her. And you have to instill this in her to when she do something wrong, and you whooping her and checking her, that she say to you, "Daddy, please don't kill me like you said you was." You can't play the game without creating some fear, because female, you know, gonna check you. It's a personality thing, and everybody got their own personality. And the thing about it is, in order to be a good pimp, you got to put yours inside of her. It can't be her personality, because she don't know. See, the thing about a female is, from birth, she being told what to do, and that's all she know is what she told. Once she a little baby, her mother and father tell her what she have to do. When she get her big brother tell her what she got to do. When she starts school, they tell her what she got to do. When she get to college, they tell her what she got to do. When she get a husband, she always used to being told what to do. So when you don't tell her what to do, she run into destruction because she didn't listen to instructions. You got to find a chick that got the same understanding and want the thing that you want. It don't have to be on your level, but the same dedication, the same drive, the same sacrifice, the same will to want to, neglect everything, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, in order to make this dream come true. That's what you have to do in the pimp game in order to become successful. They have to neglect all of them things. But while they neglect them, you taking up on that. You make sure the mama cool, the kids cool. I done had chicks that had babies, that each holiday we have to make sure they taken care of. School, back to school supplies. Had to make sure the mama is taken care of. These things that your responsibility as being a good pimp. You can't just go out and brag that you got a prostitute just to impress your peers, the friends, the folks in the neighborhood, and don't know how to take care of that female. You doing injustice to the game. You breaking her down. You making her sorrow. She ain't gonna wanna play the game based on the experience that you gave her. She needs a real pimp that know how to take what she give her and triple it and show her the life that she wants to live. That would make a good pimp, and that's the kind of woman that a pimp wants. That's his dream. Young is definitely the icing on the cake. At least 18 or over, For a pimp to get a young chick that's dedicated to the game and want to be all shit she can be, it's a dream come true. It automatically elevates his game.
Do you think the relationship that a prostitute has with her pimp is somehow, the pimp is like a substitute for the relationship she had with her dad when she was young? They call you daddy, things like that?
Well, as I stated earlier, as a pimp, you have to become her everything. Her mother, her father, her sister, her brother. All the things that she left from, he have to become them things in order to satisfy the emptiness into her life. Yes, he take on a daddy figure because he's trying to motivate her. He's trying to grow her. He's trying to make her be something that she never thought she can be and never thought that she would be able to experience it in such a way that would acquire excitement, joy, recognition. I mean, just being somebody when you thought you was a nobody, just by dedicating yourself to the gang and certain individuals. Because everybody can't make that happen. Everybody ain't got the plug.
And the pimps that you see today, what do you think of the pimping game today?
The pimp of the day, like I was telling another pimp earlier when we was speaking on the phone, ain't no young pimps carrying the game. OGs like myself is still carrying the game. We are still dedicated to the game. We are still carrying the flag. If I let the flag down, it wouldn't be even talked about anymore. The young players today not dedicated to the game. They dedicated to their own way of life. It has become a lot of homosexual and all kind of lesbian and everything. Females going a different way at an early age, guys going a different way. I mean, it just mixed up. It ain't the same honor and understanding about the male and female as it have been before. The young players today don't even care nothing about the females today. They'd rather be with some other transgender or anything. They don't care about females really today. And they don't care about getting money. You know what I mean? I didn't see that players today are satisfied being broke. That was a no-no in my days. We was going to find a hustle. We wasn't going to let it happen like that. But it's a change in time, and the bubble go around. And I don't know if I'll live to see if it get that thick, but I uphold it in my own life, so I see it every day still. You dig? My dedication, my devotion, my understanding to say what I mean and to mean what I say at all costs by any means necessary.
Do you have children of your own?
Huh?
Do you have children?
Yes, I do. And one thing about it, I got children.
How many kids you got?
Plenty of them. I didn't give you the number. I got plenty of kids, a lot of kids. You know what they said, the saying about Papa was a rolling stone, that's me. Wherever he laid his head, where his home, that's me. But that was where the money was or where the action was. I ain't never been no sucker just laid up to lay up. Once I got a knowledge to what the game was all about, it always been, you know what I mean, success and nothing less. You dig? That's the way I always took it from then at an early age, probably from 10. You dig? And like I said, I was spoiled earlier by my father having money and everything. But with them understanding in my mind from then on, I had to understand, you know what I mean, that I had to get it. And I didn't know how I was going to get it until I discovered that I was a ladies' man. I was going to make it happen like that. But, you know, my game was teaching the lady. I wasn't disrespecting her. I was showing her way. I would check her if she got out of line. I never beat my girls for not getting money because they love getting money. They didn't have no problem getting money. As a matter of fact, I could tell you a story about how much they love getting money from me here. My girls was locked up in the county jail and they knocked another chick, which was a white girl, took $500 from her. Brought it home. I don't know nothing about it. Another pimp come to me and say, hey man, your girl took, you know, money from my chick in jail and everything. What I did is confronted my chicks and gave them a little chastisement because I said that ain't the way the game go. And I gave the man his trap back to him, you know, as a respectable gentleman to the game. You know what I mean? But I let the chick know I appreciate what you were trying to do, but you know that ain't the way to do it. Other chicks coming up into the game, you can't discourage them by robbing or taking their money in the bullpen, you know what I mean, while y'all locked up. So, you know what I mean? You got to play this game fair and the game will be fair to you. That's why I got almost over 50 years in the game. And it don't look like it's slowing down any. My age is escalating, but my gang is too. The knowledge, the understanding, you did, where I can play it and continue to receive the royalties of the game because I gave to the game, and now the game give back to me. And that's what it's about. Well, the thing about me is I love for the truth to get out, and especially when it's about the game, because it's my life and it's what I'm about, you know what I mean? I don't mean it about it to keep playing it, but about it because I'm aware of the knowledge that the game exists still, you know what I mean? And it's going to continue to exist till somebody turn the lights out on this small planet. And it look like they're trying to pull a switch with this coronavirus, you dig? So, you know what I mean, we got to continue to stay safe, stay aware, and play the game fair. Ain't no fast or slick or a different route to the top. You got to grind your way. You can't cheat the game. The game know how much you put in it, and it's going to give you only what you put in. That's what you're going to get out of it. So if you ain't number one, it's because you ain't playing number one quality. You got to become number one material to become number one. Now that's church.
All right. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. I was relaxed. I enjoyed that, Jack. You dig? Ain't it, man?
You're always interesting.
Got to do it.
When's the last time you were in Chicago?
March.